तारीख पे तारीख. I bring you a new concept here with an expert, Rukmani Menon. What is mediation?
So mediation is, you can very easily do once the couple is decided to part ways. At that time, as to, when they come to you, talk to them about, constantly tell parties that, don't destroy your own lives.
तारीख पे तारीख. हम सबको पता है कितना ही डिफिकल्ट है तारीख पे तारीख, हर तारीख पे कोर्ट में प्रेजेंट होना. इट इज सच अ पेनफुल, लोनली, डिफिकल्ट जर्नी and even isolating for the people who are going through a divorce. I have been through one, and that makes me understand that this is not an easy path. It is not meant to be traveled alone. There are a lot of things which have evolved in the last few years, which I want to bring in front of you. One of them is the case of mediation. लिटिगेशन हम सबको पता है, लॉयर्स के पास हम सब जाते हैं, पर व्हाट इज मीडिएशन? टुडे आई ब्रिंग यू अ न्यू कॉन्सेप्ट हियर with an expert, Rukmani Menon, who is an expert not only in her litigation for more than 30 plus years, but also has her expertise in mediation for the last 10 years. Rukmani Menon, we present you here. Welcome, Rukmani. It's so nice to have you here. And as we are diving in, let's hear a bit from you first.
Thank you.
How do you
Punita.
feel?
It's a pleasure being here. And it's very nice reaching out to a bigger audience and spreading awareness about mediation. I'm really happy, glad to be doing this. Thank you so much for having me here, Punita.
Lovely. Let's dive right into the session. And here comes the first question. What is mediation? मेरे टाइम पे तो ये mediation जैसा कोई वर्ड ही नहीं था. डिवोर्स लॉयर्स के साथ ही मैंने काम किया, और उस समय अगर शायद ये अवेयरनेस होती तो आज जिंदगी बहुत ही अलग होती. तो आपसे पूछना चाह रही हूँ, what is mediation?
So Punita, let me take it from what you said. Let me take a cue from what you said. You said आपके टाइम में if you had known about mediation. Now you went to court for your case, right? So mediation is another way of resolving any dispute, be it a matrimonial or other dispute. So when we say matrimonial dispute, that covers a whole gambit of disputes. It could cover a divorce, it could cover child custody, it could cover maintenance, it could cover domestic violence. Everything can be covered, and mediation could be done for resolving all the disputes between the spouses. And also, this will also help the kids who are there.
Mm-hmm. So what are the reasons, occasions where a person should be reaching out for mediation is my question. In what occasion? कब consider करना चाहिए mediation?
So, if you're, there are different times to come in for mediation. Now, mediation, can I explain a little bit about the process? Mediation is a process where, unlike in court, a judge decides. In mediation, the parties are deciding how their dispute is going to be sorted out on their terms and conditions. The mediator is there helping them to achieve this. As we go into this talk, I think you'll understand better about this. Mm-hmm. Mediator is only a facilitator, a neutral facilitator who's totally impartial, totally non-judgmental. Now, you ask me, kab karna chahiye? So, mediation, suppose two parties, a couple who have, after a lot of discussion between themselves or a lot of acrimony between themselves, have realized that our marriage is not going to work. The traditional way would be the husband or the wife goes to a lawyer and says, I want a divorce. And the lawyer says, let's file it in court. So you file it in court, send a notice to the other party, and it follows that. The other alternative is that before going to court, you're not even sure that what all do you need out of this divorce. Okay, so you could try something prior to your divorce. You could sit with a mediator which is called a pre-litigation mediation. And why is this done? Because you could iron out your terms and conditions on which you want to go ahead with the divorce. And when I say terms and conditions, let me clarify that to you. Terms and conditions, first of all, which for the divorce. Under most of the laws, not only Hindu law, any other law also, the wife is entitled to alimony. So regarding the alimony to the wife, regarding child custody, that who will the child or children live, if they are children, who will they live with, the mother or the father, and the person, the other spouse, the other parent. What sort of visitation rights that parent will have? How often is this visitation rights? Third is how do you manage with the kids' financial aspects? Maintenance for the child. Maintenance will include day-to-day maintenance, I mean khana, pina, etc. And also the main chunk is towards the educational expenses, since that is a very, very expensive thing. All the extracurricular activities. Next is their medical expenses, then their holidays, and suppose the couple has properties. How do you divide? How do you divide these properties if they're joint? How is it done? And the advantage of doing this when you come for a pre-litigation mediation is the parties can iron out all these terms and conditions as what they want. You know, I had a case recently where a couple, they'd reached a state where they could hardly speak with each other in a civil manner. They had 2 kids. The elder kid was about to be a major, the younger one was in school. So they came in for pre-litigation mediation. It took about 3 to 4 months, straightening all this out. About, especially properties were involved, which property goes to who, and the kids. As far as our law is concerned, once a kid is over 18, the courts don't interfere. But till then, the courts are very, very bothered about who's going to have custody of the children and who's going to maintain the children. So regarding, in this particular case, the other child was going to turn 18. They both knew they didn't have to, but they covered up for the child's education. Then the younger child, who's the child was going to be with, who is going to meet the expenses of that child, how is it going to be. Then the next thing was, how often the child was supposed to be with the mother, how often will he get to meet the father, how often will the elder child, how often will, the child visit both the parents, because if the child is studying in a boarding school. And not only this, all these are the major terms and conditions which get sorted out in a divorce. That is, again, I'll repeat, it is alimony, it is property, it is child custody, it is child visitation. These are the most major aspects.
तो ये मुझे समझ में आया रुक्मणी कि प्री लिटिगेशन यानी कोर्ट में जाने से पहले अगर हम मीडिएटर के पास जाते हैं, वो हमें हेल्प करता है सारे टर्म्स कंडीशंस को अग्री करने में. हम लोग म्यूचुअली अग्री कर लेते हैं और उसके बाद जब हम कोर्ट में जाते हैं तो बहुत जल्दी हम लोग डिवोर्स पा सकते हैं, क्लोजर की तरफ जल्दी बढ़ सकते हैं. वो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस नहीं तो कोर्ट में तारीख पे डिस्कस होते रहते हैं, जो कि हम पहले अग्री करने के बाद कोर्ट में जाते हैं. ये फायदा हो जाता है. Am I correct?
Absolutely right. You understood it perfectly.
Lovely. Litigation and mediation में फर्क क्या है? What is the difference between the two? If you could help us with your experience.
Definitely, there's a world of difference. I'll take an example. If you're going with a contested divorce to a court, it could easily take about 4 to 6 years, because there's no finality. You will have to go up to the final court. The terms, it's your life, but the divorce and the terms are decided to some extent with your consent and your lawyers, by the judges. So the judges are deciding your lives and the lives of your children, right?
True.
The parties never have a chance to talk in court. It's the lawyers who talk. Okay, now when you come to mediation, it's a party-centric process where the parties talk. The lawyers are there to support them. They come out with their terms and conditions. And at the end of their life, they are in control of the outcome. They're in control of their life and their children's lives.
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. व्हाट क्रिस्प वे ऑफ टेलिंग कि किसी और के ऊपर निर्भर ना होके जज लॉयर्स नहीं तय करेंगे, वो पावर हमारे हाथ में होता है कि हम कैसे मीडिएशन के थ्रू जल्दी अपने केस को क्लोजर की तरफ ले जाएं.
Exactly. Very right. And I want to add one more point over here. Since the parties in a mediation agree on their terms and conditions, it's a totally win-win situation. In court, it will be a win-lose situation. And when it's a win-win situation, there is no appeal against a win-win situation. No final closure. In court, mein final closure, it's not there. The party who's aggrieved will go up further to another court, which is provided for in our system. I would just like to add a further point there that you could, even if one of the spouses files a case in court for divorce, these cases under our system are referred for mediation to the court mediation center. In a court mediation center, you don't have the choice. Whoever is your mediator, you get a mediator.
Right.
They're good mediators, but you don't. Whereas you could also come in for something called a private mediation. You have a few private mediators. Now, that is when you come on for pre-litigation mediation, or you come in on your own. You hear from somebody. You hear from a professional like you, a life coach like you, that yes, this process, these people are available. You get to know from people's LinkedIn profiles. You get to know from websites, etc., that private mediators are available, and you go directly, because the advantage being you choose the person. So you have that satisfaction that this person, you will do a little bit of research about it.
And if it comes from the court, then?
If it comes from the court, I myself am a mediator, not only in private, in the court system also. In court, you cannot pick and choose a mediator. Whoever's available, your case is handed over to that person. And the best part of mediation, whether in private or court, is that it's voluntary. Matlab that you start the process. See, in court what happens is, once you file a petition, and you have to continue with it till it reaches an end. You cannot suddenly get up in the middle and say, you know what, it's not suiting me, sorry. The judge will say, fine, you withdraw, I'll pass this till you withdraw your petition. I'm going to go ahead. In mediation, if suppose the husband or the wife says, sorry, it's not suiting me, that's the end of the mediation. You cannot continue a mediation because it's a totally voluntary process without the consent of the parties.
तो ये I'm summarizing what I have understood. ये एक वॉलंटरी प्रोसेस है. जैसे ही कोई एक पार्टी अनकंफर्टेबल फील करती है या विथड्रॉ करना चाहती है, मीडिएशन वहीं पर फेल डिक्लेयर कर दिया जाता है. या is that how we put it?
It's not failed, it's not settled.
It's not settled.
Because I have seen a number of instances in court, especially when parties say, no, we don't want to, we want to go back to court. Magar tab tak they've understood ki hai kya ye mediation. They go back to court. After being in court for about 6 months, they come back saying, ye to bahut time lag raha hai. We were told that this will close faster, because against 5-6 years in court, a mediation takes maximum about 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
So where is the cost attached to 6 years, and what is the cost attached to 3 years or 4 years? Even if you go for private mediation, it's much cheaper.
चीपर, फास्टर.
Faster.
वो 6 साल में कितने अपॉर्चुनिटीज, कितना मेंटल हेल्थ का नुकसान, कोर्ट के चक्कर, अनसर्टेनिटी, देयर इज सो मच ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ये 6 साल में, कंपेयर्ड टू अ फ्यू मंथ्स ऑफ मीडिएशन, जहां पर आप टर्म्स डिसाइड करिए और सब अपने अपने रास्ते.
एंड इवन इफ यू नॉट प्री लिटिगेशन, even from court, some parties choose to say they want to go in for private mediation. They come in. And the thing is, you talked, may I say something more? You talked about stress factor. Any litigation, especially divorce litigation, is extremely stressful. You can imagine, your private life is being discussed in open court. It's not nice. Your children are dragged into court. Your respective parents are dragged into court. It's extremely unpleasant, extremely stressful. You lose your health. You lose your mental mental health. Children get stressed out. So in mediation, the stress factor, you are not angry with each other. You are more at peace. Because you are trying to see what is best for the husband and the wife, what is best for the kids, what's best for the parties on the fringe, the parents, etc., because in India, it's just not the girl and the boy getting married, it's the families getting married.
True.
So if it breaks up also, it's the family is breaking up. And the most important factor is the kids shouldn't be made to suffer. Because the parents remain parents for the children. So there is no bitterness, saying your father is bad, your mother is bad. No, don't do that. Let the parents grow up, let the children grow up with a good impression about their kids. They need both the mother and the father. That's the beauty of mediation. That is retained in mediation, which is never possible in court.
रुक्मिणी, दिस वाज अ वंडरफुल डिस्कशन टिल नाउ. आपसे एक सवाल और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पूछना चाहती हूँ कि हम कोई अगर मीडिएशन कंसिडर कर भी रहा है, हाउ शुड दे गो अबाउट इट, और मीडिएटर के अंदर उनको क्या क्वालिटीज ढूंढने चाहिए, कैसे शुरुआत करें. दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम फॉर देम, तो व्हाट शुड बी द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट फॉर देम, where and how, what qualities should they look for in a mediator?
They will have to come to somebody like you, right? Professionals like you. They could come through the lawyers. Most lawyers are aware of not only court mediation but also aware of private mediators. They could look it up on the social media or say LinkedIn profiles hote hain sabke. You could also there is at the moment, see, mediation is just picking up in India. You don't have a directory of mediators per se.
Okay.
What are the qualities you look for?
Yes.
See, some very important qualities or conditions or preconditions you look for. One is language. That the mediator should be able to speak in your vernacular.
आपके भाषा में बात तो कर पाए.
Yeah, it's not necessary that everybody talks in Hindi or English. Somebody from Karnataka would like a mediator who is fluent in Kannada. Or say Tamil Nadu in Tamil. I'm just giving examples. The other thing is you could city. Now, if suppose I'm sitting in Bangalore, the couple is, do I need a mediator here? Some time back, maybe pre-COVID, yes. Now it doesn't matter, because if you're a slightly tech-savvy couple and your lawyers are okay with it, you can very easily do online mediation.
वंडरफुल. तो सिटी का भी रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है.
No.
किसी भी शहर से हम मीडिएटर से काम कर सकते हैं.
Yes.
Only is the language should be preferred language for the couple to be understanding. दोनों का common language होना चाहिए ना, couple.
Yes.
Right.
And then online mediation also, there are a lot of couples where one side says I'm not comfortable online, and they could come. I mean, we also do hybrid mode of mediation.
अच्छा, okay.
And there are one or two very important qualities, which are there in a mediator. Like a mediator should be willing to listen. A mediator should be good at communication. Mediator should be able to understand the party's body language. A lot of patience. Non-judgmental. These are some of the few, I'm just highlighting the most important qualities of a mediator. You cannot go looking for somebody like that, but I'm saying these are the qualities which make a good mediator.
एक वो कपल जिसके पास बच्चे हैं, जिनको co-parenting करनी है, they go through a lot of hell trying to resolve things between them, get the child custody rights. उसमें mediation कैसे मदद करता है? How will it help those parents?
So I will just tell you once again. I said that when in mediation we deal with different aspects of a child. We deal with the divorce aspect and the child custody. Now, child custody, child stays with one parent, and the other parent visits. You have what is called visitation rights. So what happens is co-parenting means who is making a decision about all the things which matter in the child's life, regarding the education, regarding the extracurricular activities, regarding outings for the children, regarding what the child will eat, or what sort of medical attention the child needs. So when it comes to co-parenting in mediation, because they're trying to collaborate with each other, so they will also see how best the interest of the child or children is taken care of, and how they can co-parent in such a way that though they are split up, the children interest is taken care for by both of them.
Wonderful. And because they are themselves present, voicing their own opinions to the mediator, it makes it easier for them to resolve it on the table rather than date after date after date.
Yeah, and yes, in court it becomes long drawn, and as I said in the beginning, in reply to one of your earlier questions, it's very stressful for the children in court.
Got it. Got it.
It reduces stress level for them. And in mediation, at times I've also talked to the children, and you cannot directly ask a child anything, but children give you little snippets of information that mom, dad are fighting, that I am not able to pay attention in school, my teachers are saying that your grades have come down. So when you hear snippets like this, and then you realize how stressed the child is. So in mediation, you can always ensure, the parents can ensure, the mediator never comes out with, the parents can ensure, once they get to know, once they put aside their respective egos, their misunderstandings, and agree to do the best for the child.
Who is this mediation really for? किन लोगों के लिए mediation अच्छे तरीके से काम करता है?
Very good question, Punita. It is for, couples who want to finish off. They've decided to separate. This has to be done legally. They are not in a position to the various terms and conditions. But they want to collaborate. They want to end it in a peaceful, dignified manner, and not be saying things about and washing your dirty linen in public in court. They want peace, not only for themselves, for the children. They want stress levels reduced. They want their cost and time. Most couples are working. If you have to keep running behind your lawyers, the court, it spoils your careers. So taking all this into consideration, people were conscious about these efforts, that is there a way I don't have to go through 5 years of all this. I rather do it. It's a give and take process. It's not that in mediation, I can never say I am right and you're wrong. No. You learn how to give, you learn how to take.
Right.
You learn to understand the other side. So it's for people like this who want to finish things peacefully.
Benefiting both the sides,
Exactly.
including the child, जो अपने ईगो को किनारे रख के चीजों को बेहतरीन तरीके से क्लोजर पे लाना चाहते हैं.
Exactly. And the extended families also, I would say.
Right.
And less of bitterness for your personal thing, and less of anger between the spouses.
What a beautiful way of putting it. Thank you, Rukmani. Here comes an experience for me. I have seen a lot of my clients coming with an outrage that their lawyers are not helping and supporting them. I want to change the lawyer. It seems like, the lawyer is not working for my interest or benefit. They are just behind material monetary things. मुझे सबसे पहले तो lawyer change करना है. कई बार ऐसे बहुत से disgruntled clients भी आते हैं मेरे पास. तो इसमें क्या role है lawyers का और mediators? How do they interplay? Can you help me explain that?
See, you have good, you have bad, you have good and bad doctors, you have good and bad lawyers, you have good and bad teachers. So, lawyers play a very significant role. They are the ones who should be advising the clients that there is such a process, that you have an option. But you decide on the option. I'm not going to push you towards mediation. So mediation will be definitely more successful and faster if the lawyer is there to assist his or her client. Similarly, in mediation, if the lawyers are the ones who are supporting the process. The process gets over faster and in a better way. Whereas if you have lawyers who are telling the clients, no, come to court, we'll get you more. Give you a small example. There is this matrimonial mediation I did where they decided the husband was giving X amount for the son's education abroad, and the lawyer kept saying, no, I will get you X amount more in the court. So I just told the wife that please go and ask your lawyer when is he going to get you this amount and how much. So the lawyer said, I don't know all that. So I said, will it benefit your child if this is going to extend for 5 years and you're going to get the money after 5 years? Then she realized, she said, no, this amount is required for this purpose at this time. And she put her foot down and told the lawyer, no, I am going to go ahead with the settlement. So lawyers are important. Lawyers are required to change their mindset to some extent so that they support their clients and support the process of mediation.
One final question for you, Rukmani. We have been working together for a while. How does divorce recovery support mediation, litigation? Can you throw light on that aspect?
Neither definitely support mediation for sure. You know why? Like I said, you need lawyers to coach the clients. People like you are much in a better position as far as the emotional aspect goes to support, to understand their respective clients, be it a husband or a wife, understand their interests and what they're going through. So it's at all stages of the divorce. Once the couple has decided to part ways, at that time as to, when they come to you, talk to them about mediation and, you know about it. Similarly, when they're going through, they need a lot of emotional support. So people like you are there to give them that support. Lawyers can't give that sort of emotional support. They can support them in different ways. Very, very important. Similarly, post-divorce, everybody goes through a lot of trauma. Whether they have agreed everything, but still you go through trauma. That is where divorce recovery is counseling is very important. And you could help clients to a great extent at all stages.
Wonderful. And what I understand is at each of the 3 stages, whether it's pre-divorce, during divorce, or post-divorce, there is a different emotion which engulfs them.
Exactly.
A lot of uncertainty when they are yet to take the decision. What am I supposed to do? And some of them spend their whole life unable to decide that should I move ahead?
Should I go ahead? What will society say about me?
Yeah.
What will my relatives think about me?
When it's during the divorce, they are going through so much of anger, frustration, revenge.
Exactly.
Ki kab khatam hoga? I can't change my job. I can't change my city. I can't decide anything.
But all these negative emotions are more in a court. These negative emotions are far lesser in a mediation.
Yeah.
Because you've been given a time frame and you've been told that yes, it is possible. If mediation, at the end of the day, a success of a mediation depends on the parties. And to make it successful, the lawyers are necessary, people like you are necessary. Who constantly tell parties that, don't destroy your own lives.
And I clearly tell in all my intros, a lawyer can give a legal advice.
Exactly.
A financial planner can give a financial recommendation on alimony, on all of that. But it's a divorce recovery coach who can guide you emotionally, make you mentally strong so that you can take those important life-changing decisions in that chair when you're sitting and making those decisions.
So true. I totally agree with you.
Any last message or note that you want to give our audience here?
Thank you, Punita, for having me here. Yes, I do have a last note. Don't spoil your lives by going through long, drawn court processes. Be aware of mediation. Try to take advantage of the process of mediation and take things your way, make decisions about important aspects in your life through mediation. And let people like Punita guide you and your lawyers guide you.
Well, this was Rukmani Menon for you, who is an expert in litigation for last 30 years and in mediation for last 10 years. She brings immense expertise, experience and support onto the table. Today we have learned some new concepts of mediation. I hope a lot of people are able to use this. If any of you is willing or wanting to explore the services of mediation, I'll be super happy to connect you with Rukmani and ensure that all our lives get better, faster, sooner, smoother with her expertise. Thank you.